Hey, what's up, professional reader? Dalton Lexicon here. I am drinking some Java and reading some books on Drinkin at Moe's.
This is drinkinatmos, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's all so mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin' at Moe's, where we don't quit. Drinkin' at Moe's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
You know, I've always said here at Drainamos, just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean it has to be alcoholic. So I'm happy to say Drinking at Moe's is sponsored by Prince Nana Coffee. The, the exact same guy you see every week on Dynamite, on Collision. Yes, he has his own coffee and it's freaking delicious. They don't even roast those beans until you've placed your order. And you might be telling me, hey, Big Mo, I'm more of a tea guy. They got you covered there too. Use the referral link in the description of this video. And let's get you dancing like Prince Nana with Prince Nana Coffee. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good shit because YouTube's algorithm. I've only had one. I'm on my first, and I'm already fumbling my words. Don't forget, YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the ass. We all know that. Don't forget about the audio platforms. I'm just going to move on from the fumbling my words there. But I'm excited to welcome to the show Dalton Lexicon. How you doing?
Hey, Mo, what's up? Thank you for having me. I've got some coffee, I've got some books by my side. It's a good night.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get. I got some questions on some good reading, but yes, coffee. I at least at this time of the day, unless decaf, I'm like nope, because that's one thing that's just gonna. I gotta wake up for my. I am not a morning person, but I prefer not working evenings, so it's a double-edged sword. But first thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to make the leap into the business.
Okay. Um, so I grew up not really into wrestling until I hit probably about 10 years old. I'm gonna date myself and objectively you as well, because I'm sure you're gonna hit me with the shit. You were a kid then, but I was 10 in 2006,
Oh,
and
geez.
um, I had I had dabbled with wrestling, like video games. I remember playing like SmackDown versus Raw with my neighbors. I remember like playing with the action figures, but I didn't really start watching until the summer of '06. And like my dad watched it, so I'd see it here and there. Like my earliest wrestling memory is The Rock and the Hurricane, doing
Mm.
something during their angle.
Oh, yeah, that little back and forth they had. Yeah.
Yeah. And summer of '06 rolled around, and dude, we're probably right around the 10-year anniversary. Not 10 year, fuck, 20-year anniversary. Time is weird. Time is fast and long at the same time. But the John Cena like title run, there was a Raw. I think it was like 4th of July, maybe like right around there, where it was Cena versus Edge and Rob Van Dam. And that is like the first time I consciously watched
Mm.
like wrestling and was like into it. Um, from there, I became obsessed, like most people would probably say. Um, it was everything that I cared about as a kid. I missed out on a lot of like movies and video games that all my like fourth and fifth grade compadres were into because I was just obsessed with finding like old VHS tapes of like old pay-per-views, or if like anybody in my family had like recorded pay-per-views of their own back in the day. Like I remember my grandparents had a tape that they recorded directly themselves from ordering the pay-per-view, the 1990 Survivor Series. And
Oh,
dude, I watched that over and over and over at their house. Like I would go to their house every weekend, and I was a fat little kid, so I'd like make like a plate full of pizza rolls, like
uh,
dead seriously. Like I'd take all 40 and put them on the plate, and my grandma would just let me do it,
mhm.
and I'd watch that pay-per-view on like repeat, man, and like other than the gobbledygooker stuff, which it's like a meme at this point and
Yeah.
whatnot, like it's a solid show,
Yeah.
and I still like to go back and rewatch that specific show because it just had so much nostalgia.
Oh God, I remember going to the local video rental stores, and I would specifically, when I really got into wrestling, would always at least go looking at the pro wrestling section. And my favorites were always Survivor Series because of all the random teams mishmashed together. There's something about that was cool to me, but also the Royal Rumbles. Those would
Same,
be my go-tos.
dude. There's something about like the sporty feel of both of those, like the elimination aspect, the I came out at number one, I came out at number 17. Like it just makes it feel more like a sporting program, and
Mm-hmm.
that just felt interesting to me. Like similar to you, I liked the teams. I loved the idea of like who the surviving members of the teams were. That stuff just was really interesting to me. And like as I've gotten older, I'm somewhat of like a statistics nerd when it comes to like sports and stuff like that. So that totally checks out.
Oh yeah, and yeah, it was just always fun for me because I remember some of my personal favorites from dating around the time of that Survivor Series that you watch. But I mean, heck, I just had my birthday. I was born in '83, and I remember watching, Legion of Doom with the spiked shoulder pads
Mm,
coming out and getting to see, like, back in the day, seeing what I mean, he scared the crap out of me growing up. But Bruiser Brody coming out swinging the chain around and stuff. Now, dude, I love watching back his stuff because it
mm.
just intensity, it just something else. But then, yeah, just seeing the ways the crowds would react to people, like when I finally got to see Legion of Doom live one time, man, what a that hit, and I was just
Man,
like, I was jumping up and down, fanboying like fucking crazy.
dog, I bet that hits like nothing else.
Between that and like growing up, it was between that, later on, Undertaker and that dong, or obviously, I'm a huge Stone Cold guy. The glass shatters, and it's like those three. It's like from that first little bit, you knew right away all hell was about to break loose, and I loved it. I got hooked. I got hooked. Now,
It
oh, go ahead.
it's easy to get hooked with wrestling, man.
Oh, oh yeah. No,
Like, and the older I get, the more like I look at wrestling and like objectively, I'm like, oh, I understand why people like some people don't get it, like, and don't like it. Like wrestling is one of those things you either get it or you don't. And like once I accepted that, like it made my life a lot easier because like
oh,
I didn't feel like I needed to defend myself like as a wrestling fan anymore. I'm
mm,
like, all right, if it's not for you, that's cool. Like there are
oh
things
yeah.
that aren't for me, and that's cool, and we can respect that.
Oh yeah.
At the
No,
end of the
I.
day, it's weird.
Oh yeah. I still get into conversations, little bits with my wife about similar to that, where like she'll talk my ear off about this person or that person, and then I'll come up and she'll be watching like, the one that I really give her shit about, it was Love After Lockup, and
Oh,
I'm like, good grief! Like I tell her, I can listen to like one of the guys, like I can listen to that guy for like a minute, and I already know he's full of shit.
right.
But yeah, but in my head, I think, you know what? You tolerate me watching wrestling and you think it's weird. I think this is weird. So whatever. If you enjoy it, it's your thing.
We all have our things, man. Some of
That
us
we
like to watch oiled up dudes roll around on the mat with each other.
I know,
Some of
right?
us like to watch Love Island and Love is Blind.
Oh
You know,
God. Yeah.
we don't judge here.
Yeah, we don't judge. We might think in our heads like, what the fuck are you watching? But I mean, we're certain people think the same thing about some of the stuff that we end like, oh God, I've got stories upon stories of my wife watching some of like the death match stuff that I've
Oh
watched.
God.
Oh, carpet strips come involved, and she's like, oh,
Ooh, hard pass for me. Let's go back to Love After Lockup.
yeah, no, I joked with somebody recently that I if my wife ever got word that I had even debated even trying a death match, she she would kill me, bring me back to life to just beat the crap out of me like in the friend death matches for them.
Honestly, great gimmick.
Oh yeah. But yeah, okay. Now when when you first decided to get into wrestling, how did that come about? Like, we know about the fandom and you got hooked, but when was it that like you decided, okay, I'm gonna actually do this?
So my obsessive like fandom as like a 10-year-old, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like I wanted to be three things. I wanted to be a wrestler, an author, or a teacher. And number one was wrestler. And my dad was very supportive. He was like, all right, that's fine, but you need to have some kind of backup
Mm.
plan. Um, so in the back of my head, that was what was going. And I got to like 2009, 2010, and that era of WWE was very eh.
Yeah. No,
And
we can all admit. We can all admit.
it's got a couple things. The Bob Barker stuff, great. Some of the special guest host stuff, awesome. But overall,
Yeah.
wasn't the best. And being like a 13, 14-year old that's starting to get to that point where everybody kind of like that grows up liking wrestling either drops out of it or locks the hell in with it. I was like right on that fence. And 2011 rolled around, and what did it for me, and I'm sure you've had people tell you the same thing, because I lived the same wrestling fan story as a lot of people did at that time, was the pipe bomb promo.
Mm.
I distinctly remember being in like my room playing like PlayStation maybe or reading something, and my dad was in his bedroom watching Monday Night Raw. And it just happened that like that night I was like, I'll go in there and watch it with him. And then that happened, and it was like one of those like out of body experiences. Like, holy shit! Like, this is amazing. What is going on? And I locked in again from there, and I got through high school and started college at a local campus with that intention of having that backup plan first. Like I remember in like our career search classes we'd take in high school, anytime the guidance counselor would come in, I'd be like, I want to be a wrestler. And they'd be like, that's not realistic. Have something else. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this and then be a wrestler. And I started college in fall of 2015. And by the time I got to the next year, so fall of 2016, I had put myself in a position in my classes where I didn't really feel like I could keep going with it. Like I was an English major and they had given us the assignment of writing like a 5-page paper over a 10-line poem. And
Oh,
like
jeez.
dude, the reading gimmick is like I'm living the gimmick. I love reading, I love writing, but I remember having like this existential crisis. This like holy cow, I can't do this. What am I doing? And I dropped out of college. And I had talked to a buddy, and he was like, why don't you go down to Rockstar Pro Wrestling in Dayton and train there and get started in wrestling?" So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. So January 2017, I started training there, and I only made it about a week and a half because I hurt myself and like
Oh no.
dude, it was so mild. Like 20-year-old me can go get slapped in the face because like now I'm like hurting all the time and I'm still doing it. But 20-year-old me, I think, just lacked the emotional maturity to be able to handle the
Hmm.
stress of injury, the stress of being on the road, being away from family, and missing out on opportunities in like your real life. And I started to catastrophize really, really bad. And a week and a half, I went to like 3 trainings, 1 or 2 shows, and then messaged the trainer, "Hey, I need to take a break," and never went back. And that decision haunted me for about 7 years. Um, so I, go back to school. I finish college. I graduate. I start working a professional career, and I get married. And this marriage falls apart. Um, I had been with my partner for a long time. We got together like in high school, and it was just one of those things where like we we didn't need to be together. We were because everyone was like, "You guys are perfect for each other." It's all we knew, and this marriage is falling apart, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I was reading Becky Lynch's memoir. Actually, we had gone to Asheville, North Carolina, on one of those like we're saving our marriage kind of
Hmm.
trips. And we got into it, and it was awkward, and everything sucked. And I'm reading the Becky Lynch memoir on the ride back, and I'm reading about her training experience, and she's talking about how bad she was, how much she sucked, how she couldn't learn how to put on a wrist lock, how she all this stuff that you would think would be like basic she couldn't do. And I'm like reading that and I'm feeling something in me. I'm like, man, I have had this pop back in my head at least once or twice every year, and I just shut it down. I owe it to myself. I think I was 27 at the time. I owe it to myself to give this an honest shot. So immediately I start Googling professional wrestling schools near me, and I come across a few. But ultimately, I landed on the Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy in Newark, Ohio, with James Avery. Because when I was looking at the schools, like the people that came out of there, Max Van Paler, Queen Aminata, I was like, you know what? I think this is the place for me. So I reached out and started training in August of 2024.
Awesome. And some that I've been loving, well, before I get into that, because I just had a train of thought that just the randomness of my show sometimes. But I loved how you had a group that was actually supportive of, because, while with the podcast, yes, my wife is very supportive. I can't, she, I give her shit sometimes, but she's supported me through, I mean, we've supported each other through a lot of shit, but like I've had people from, I mentioned before recording about, doubters and people like, I mean, this is going before the podcast, even from like when I enlisted and excited and telling some people around my hometown, and some of them were laughing at me. Then when it comes to the well, hell, even before the podcast with wrestling, this is funny because my parents had told me at one point, do you really think you're going to meet anybody at these wrestling shows? And I kid you not. I love telling the story. My wife, my now wife, she happened to be working the merch table at this show that I hadn't been to in probably almost a year. I had a friend that, at least at the time, wrestled for them. They kept on trying to convince me to go. So I said, you know what? Next show that's on a day I already have off, I'll go. I hadn't been there maybe more than 40, 50 minutes, somewhere in there. He pulls me aside and says, hey, I got somebody I want you to meet. And then here we are now. Got a little boy that's just about 19 months, and it's been. And I remember when the day of the wedding, my dad walks up to me, and I was just laughing. I said, I remember when you told me that. And that same thing with the podcast. Get told, with having kids, like, oh, you're gonna need to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, other people have hobbies and they find that balance. I'll be fine. So, and heck, if I would have listened to some of those people, I wouldn't have gotten my honorable discharge. I probably wouldn't have met my wife, and I probably wouldn't be almost 450 episodes into this podcast.
Life is funny sometimes, man. Like the way like the butterfly effect of life just works, like you said, you listen to that one person that's like, hey, don't do this, and everything's different, like you're not hosting a wrestling podcast, you're, I don't know, hosting a cooking podcast, like something completely different. I don't know.
Yeah, no, totally. Now, one thing I've been enjoying with your in-ring persona, because it's like very much, when you mentioned being a teacher on top of, I'm like, and then I remember watching stuff for matches. I'm like, yeah, that fits. Because it's weird because we've seen the whole teacher thing kind of go one way, or it could go heel, it could go face, it can work both. And I mean, heck, there's even, I don't know if you've seen the posts about it, but there's even I don't know about anywhere near me, but wrestling shows in libraries.
Dude, I was hoping you would say that. I have seen that so many times, and that is like the pinnacle of my wrestling bucket list that I didn't know I needed to cross off. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. And I'm like, oh, we're literally promoting literacy in wrestling. That's amazing. Like, the teacher part of me loves that, and the wrestler part of me loves that.
That would just be one of the situations where you could definitely be like the big baby face of the show. You're the one promoting reading and literature and all that. It's only for me that I've started seeing it pop up like the last couple of weeks. I'm like, that is interesting, because I love hearing stories about unique locations that people have had wrestling matches in. And I mean, I've heard some interesting ones that I haven't released the episode yet, but it's scheduled out. One of the ones that I've heard recently that just jumped out to me, that I've never heard that one before, was actually a over the top rope battle royal in the middle of a parade.
I love that. That sounds so dangerous, but I love that.
And I'm like, holy shit, that sounds awesome.
That sounds rad as hell.
Like it gave me the image in my head of like oh God, sounds weird saying, back before you were even watching wrestling, the the old WCW spring break shows where the ring was over a pool.
Oh yeah, that stuff is cool.
I remember watching those, and I was always hoping and praying the entire show that somebody got thrown into the damn pool. And every time that it happened, I swear my parents probably wondered what the hell was wrong with me, because I just started, whoa, yes. But it got me thinking that the library shows, that would just be perfect for you.
Dude, I would adore that. Like, I didn't know that was a thing myself until I think I saw a post a month or two ago. And now I see it pop up like every other week. Like, it's another post of it. And I'm like, man, like, I don't know how to get on that show, but I need to get on that show. My girlfriend and I were watching, old episodes of Silent Library on MTV
Oh God, the
not long ago.
WWE ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, like imagine like a wrestling like silent library match. And someone, I don't remember who, but someone was like, I think they've done that before. Where like the whole gimmick is, you just be quiet. And I love that. Like that's so funny.
That would be. I've never even heard of that, but I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, I'm just
But
like thinking like whisper chants or something like from the crowd.
oh my God, like I've mentioned it before on the show that uniqueness in professional wrestling, especially today with how long it's been around, can be kind of few and far between. And while that match might have happened, I sure as hell haven't seen it. Damn it! Now you talked about the library show being on your bucket list. Now I want to see this damn match type.
We
I
got to make it happen, Mo.
Dude, we have to have that happen. That would be awesome. I can't get that out of my head now.
Uh-uh. Not at all. And like the aesthetic of like just thinking of like a wrestling show with the books and the library surrounding, like just seems so cool.
Oh God. Okay. I just had this image pop into my head. Of okay, obviously you have the referee for the match. But I had the image pop into my head from Monsters University during the thing in the library where they have to get out without getting caught.
Yeah.
If you're too loud, you have to find some way to like not get caught by a secondary person.
Like there's like a bouncer,
Yes.
like an audio bouncer. Like, oh, we've got the volume meter right here. And I'm picturing like the silent library like meter going up and down. Like they just have one of those. And they're like giving you like a stern like look and like wagging their finger at you every time you get a little too high.
And then if you get above a certain point, it's like they start like I don't know, like if you have a manager and like, oh, it got too loud, oh, they go to try to run the manager out. Oh damn.
Man, there's so much you could do with that.
Oh, oh my God. And this could be like in the world of cinematic matches. Boom. Perfect.
Yes.
Absolutely fucking perfect. Oh my God. I I have ideas for this sort of stuff pop into my head all the time, and man, it's been a while since I've had one get me this jazzed up. And I'm like, holy shit, I need it. Somehow that needs to fucking happen. Wow.
One day we'll make it happen.
One day we'll make it happen. Now, even with the amount of episodes that I've had on and the people I've had on, I'm learning about new places all the time. And a couple of the promotions that I've seen pop up for you on social media, one the Chaos United Wrestling, which I don't know if the match that I didn't see the date on there. There was one recent match that was I at least saw the match graphic come up recently. What has your experience been like there for them?
So I've only wrestled for them one time. That actually came about because um, they were running a show at the racetrack that I grew up going to. Like, so I mentioned my grandparents earlier. When I go there for weekends, they lived like a mile down the road from this racetrack, and we would go there like every weekend. I'd sit there with my big headphones to like cover up the loud noises and like just be like reading or playing Game Boy because I didn't care that much about racing. It was boring and loud. Um, but I was in Pittsburgh for 880 wrestling, and I connected with Nathan Davis out of Dayton. He had gone up there with Big Pound that day, and
I got Nathan Davis and Big Pound on the schedule.
let's go. Love those guys. I was talking to Nathan, and he had mentioned like that there's this company that's looking to get some more people in, and I need all the reps I can get. I'm trying to get as better as I can, and I'm going to take them. And he mentioned like wrestling at this racetrack, and he mentioned a name and called it Shady Bowl Speedway. And I'm like, what? Like, and that's in the middle of Buttland, Ohio. Like, there's nothing there, dude. There's literally Amish like that live in that county and drive those roads. But there's this racetrack, and I'm in Pittsburgh, and I hear about this area I grew up going to. I'm like, what? And I'm like, I know I've got to get on this. So I reached out to the promoter, and he got me on, and I wrestled there last week, I think it was.
I was going to say it looked relatively recent.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was just really loud because they were running races like at the same time. But it was really cool. Like it was another one of those bucket list things I didn't know I had for wrestling. Like being able to wrestle in a spot and location that was pretty important to formative Dalton. Like was so cool, and like my grandparents got to come. My dad was there, my childhood best friend, and dude, so like I'm new, I'm still figuring everything out, but I sold more merch at that place than I did anywhere else, and it was so cool. Like it was one of the first times that I've been like, oh my god, I'm a wrestler, and
That is awesome.
it was a great experience.
I bet, getting to have, kind of you hear people talking about the hometown type feel where like family and friends are all coming in to see you. That is one of those special feelings that,
Yeah.
you might already, when they talk about having the bug, it's like, if you start feeling relatively like, oh, like you're tapering off, and then you get the hometown treatment there, I'm like, that would just boom, bump me right back up.
Dude, I've been very fortunate already to kind of have a few opportunities like that of just crossing off things that I didn't know I needed to. A couple weeks ago, I wrestled for Armbar Pro Wrestling in the
I got the
mall.
promoter on the schedule.
Let's go. Love those dudes as well, man. They were running at the mall that I grew up going to in front of like the old abandoned FYE that I grew up buying like CDs and DVDs from. It's not an FYE anymore. It's an empty room because that mall is just dead. But like
One of those ghost
I
malls
knew what it
now.
was. Yeah, like I could picture FYE right there, and I'm like getting suplexed into the corner right in front of where I bought like my first CD. Um, I wrestled for War Wrestling in Lima, Ohio, which is where I went to college, and I spent a lot of time. So like, there's a lot of like sentimental things that have already happened, and I
Uh,
definitely don't take that for granted.
oh, for sure. Yeah, you just got me think of I not wrestling show related, but for some reason, where I was stationed in the Navy down in San Diego, I've had a bunch of San Diego related stuff pop up on my reels on Facebook. Like out of the blue. It was weird. But like all of a sudden one came up of this, it looked like an outdoor mall that like I guess doesn't run anymore. And then I went and I looked it up, the name that it said, and I'm like, holy shit. Because when I was stationed down there, there would be a bunch of times that I would go down to that particular mall and just wander around. I'd go see a movie. I'd go buy something. Like I bought, I believe it was an FYE there that I bought
Hey,
some wrestling DVDs. I remember one time I was at uh, one of those lids or ball cap stores where I was at another location in a different mall, and the guys were asking like, "Oh, what? How can we help you?" I'm like, "Yeah, you probably don't carry the team I want anyways." And me being from Nebraska, it was Nebraska Cornhusker stuff, and this was right around the time that they had played. I don't know if they had gotten to the. They played the where the Chargers used to play in San Diego.
okay.
They played a bowl game down there 2 years in a row, and it might have been after the first one. And they said, "Oh well, we might have another location here, the one in that." And then now it's like permanently closed, just all. And I'm just like, dang. You talking about the mall show, which I believe I've seen footage of the mall show that I'm like, that just got me thinking because I've been on a kick of looking up Google Street views of places that I used to frequent in San Diego, and
Yeah.
that mall ended up kicking off that.
Dude, life is weird sometimes, It goes back to that butterfly effect that I think there's beauty in the pathway that life takes us on a lot of times, and getting to have those moments for both of us is a very, very unique experience.
For sure, I know. I want to get back down to San Diego at some damn point. I haven't been back since right around the time my enlistment ended. So we'll see.
I've
But
never been to San Diego, but
oh
I've
man,
always wanted to go. Blink-182 is my favorite band, and they're based out of San Diego originally, so there's a lot of
oh
it
god,
just
you've seen the videos of the one at Petco Park, the baseball stadium, and they're playing all the small things, and they just zoom in on him.
yeah.
Oh god, yeah, love that stadium by the way. But yes, no, I've often joked that if I could have afforded San Diego without the Navy, I'd probably still be there.
Mm, fair.
But another thing that's come up relatively recently with, and we could go into a whole discussion on this, but when that whole news broke out about PlayStation kind of discontinuing making physical discs, and now there's all these different places from all walks of life making kind of spoof posts. Buckeye Championship Wrestling, I saw their one. I'm like, dude, that's funny.
James Avery is a funny guy, and he knows how to work a crowd online and in the ring, and that made me laugh really hard. And there were people like in the comments that were like, "So if there's no physical championships, like what are they wrestling for?" And like he's just replying, like playing into the bit, and I loved that. It was
Oh
funny.
God, yeah, that just it gets me thinking about a bunch of other stuff that kind of along the lines of those comments of, oh God, recently with Maxine Dupree and her with Austin Theory, and like, oh my God, isn't she married and blah blah blah. I'm like, Sean Ross Sapp actually has mentioned this multiple times, which I'm not knocking Sean Ross Sapp. I'm actually a huge fan of his. But he actually made a very good point. They're fucking actors.
For real. Like, dude, you're like 30 or 40. Come on now. You know, you should know better. They're like the reverse of the people that like sit there and watch it and like do the whole like it's fake, right? Like, dog, I know. Do you sit in a movie theater and like say that when Thor picks up the hammer? No.
You know,
Like
right?
like there's like these two extremes, and it's like, guys, just find the middle area of appreciating it for the art that it is.
Oh God, that just get on tangents on this show. But that also got me down to thinking of a guy that used to, I forget if he illustrated or he wrote Batman comics for a while, but he made a comment about um, kids having imaginations and then adults thinking about like something about uh, who changes the tires on the Batmobile. And funny enough, my actual name, me and that writer have the same name. So like
Hey,
you Google me, you Google my name, that guy pops up. And somebody actually on my personal Facebook page shared the picture of that post. It said, "Did you say this?" And I commented, "I say a lot of things."
sometimes you just got to play into it, man. Nothing
Oh
beats
yeah,
nothing
that
beats a good troll.
no yeah. Now talking about Ohio, that's one state that I haven't been to yet. Like out west, like North Dakota down to Texas and out west, I've been to that whole half. I need to work my way out east.
Ohio's all right. It gets a lot of flack, and for some reasons, for good reason. Um,
Though I hear the fuck Ohio chants at different wrestling shows all the time.
Everyone seems to hate Ohio, but I'm an Ohio lifer. I've been here since I was born, and I there are times I'm like, yeah, I agree, Ohio sucks, but like at the end of the day, like I think Ohio is overall a good spot. Like we have a lot of like really fun things to do, like in the city, the three C's, the Cincy, Columbus, and Cleveland. I mean, we're very spoiled with two of the top theme parks in the country, in
Mm.
Kings Island and Cedar Point.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I live in like the Columbus area now. I'm originally from super rural Ohio. Like my graduating class was 44. You know,
Mine was 9.
dude, you're like the first person to ever actually beat me. Kudos, man. I'll just shut the hell up now. That's the end. We're done. No, so you understand, like
Oh
rural,
yeah.
but you know, living in just rural Ohio growing up, like the only thing you could really do late at night was go walk around Walmart at like 2 a.m., but like that's not even an option anymore. So living in like the Columbus area has like made me really start to appreciate Ohio more because there are some good things.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
really into the music scene, the local like punk and hardcore scene. Columbus is always popping off with different shows. And like even before wrestling, like there were times where I felt like I was driving like a wrestler because I'd be taking like a 2 or 3 hour drive to Cleveland or Cincinnati to go see some random show on a Wednesday night and then go teach the youth the next morning. Um, you just have to find the right things in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
And like if you ever hit up Columbus, Mo, like I've got so many like food recommendations for you.
Oh sweet. Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. But yeah, I can say the same thing about at least the part of Nebraska I live in. Omaha, Lincoln. Kind of more the eastern, southeastern part. A lot more to do because I mean, you got, obviously Lincoln has, the Husker teams and everything. Omaha, we got the consistently ranked either number 1 or number 2 zoo in the country.
Nice.
So like I go there all the freaking time. But and then you also have the times where like, the depending on the season, College World Series is just right here in town. And that, oh God, when you were talking about your graduating class, if you want a good laugh about mine, like even though having 9 people already gives enough
9 is
people,
insane.
but like they before that they had put in the gym the graduating class in the front row. My class had so few people, they just put us up on the stage with the administration.
You guys are the stars of the show. Just get up there.
It was funny. And like I hear people talking about small classes and they're talking like hundred some odd
Yo,
people. And I'm like, and they're like, what? Like, I had 9.
it's like, dog, you don't know small. Like,
Yeah, you do not know small in
not at
the
all.
least bit.
Dude, like, I'm sure you can relate with, like, the 9, but, like, my school I grew up going to, I grew up in this town called Jackson Center, Ohio. It's the home of the Airstream trailer, the tin can looking
Mm,
thing. Ugly as heck, in my opinion, but they're super popular. But one stoplight town until about 10 years ago, we had a gas station, a movie theater for some reason, a subway, and like a market. And it's the kind of place where like you grow up and you go to the same school K to 12, and everybody's parents, everybody's grandparents, everybody's birthdays. Like everybody knows everything about each other for better or for worse. And
that sounds like the town my parents grew up in because I don't even think there's a stoplight in that town.
Jesus.
I one time my wife and I were driving through and I had joked with her. I'm like, this town, like you drive by it, if you blink, you're probably missing the damn town because the main big highway goes just on the outside of town. I'm like, did you see that town over there? It's like, no. I'm like, well, that's that town I was telling you about.
Oh, we missed it. Whoops.
Yeah. So I spent I know all too much about the small, like nothing towns that nobody would even think about. Yep. Now, I have 2 categories here. One's a bit of a name game where I name off some people. You give me some quick thoughts on them. And, you know, talking about Ohio, each of these people a bit of a Ohio connection.
Okay.
So, like I said, I give you the name, first thoughts that pop into your head. It doesn't have to be like one word or nothing, but just first thoughts.
Okay.
John Moxley.
Love him. Loved his book. He actually was on the card for the first wrestling show I ever went to. Like, first indie show, and I think first show in general. And I didn't realize until about 5 years later, like
Nice.
when he was signed. And then I went back and looked at the little pamphlet that they gave me with the roster, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Dean Ambrose. That's amazing.
He's been on a couple shows that I've been to. Uh, Conveniently enough, 2 of the crazy moments that I've witnessed at wrestling shows. One in WWE where he was having the feud with Chris Jericho and he like destroyed that light up jacket.
Oh man. And
I
then
was in
Mitch got murdered.
I was in the crowd for that show.
Nice.
And more recently, when AEW actually came to town and they had the now infamous Moxley Adam Copeland street fight.
Mm.
You know the spot I'm talking
Yep, sure do.
the nail board.
Sure do.
I was third row right by the entrance. That happened right in front of me.
God. Jesus Christ.
My clip of them trying to pull that out of his back got up to like 12,000 views in less than 24 hours.
God, that was so nasty.
Like literally seeing it pull his skin. Like
Ugh.
and
Hard
seeing
pass.
the individual trickles of blood from the nail holes, like, I got back issues, but that even had me like, yeah, ow. No. Now, the next person has a bit of a tie-in with him too, with a bit of a Moxley connection and Ohio connection. Sami Callihan.
Love him as well. So he was also on that show. I believe he was promoter and booker for that show. It was in his hometown of Belle Fountain, Ohio. And Sammy actually has a really special place in my heart because he was my first favorite indie wrestler. Because my dad worked at this local like printing place for like shirts and whatnot. And Sammy was apparently dating this girl that worked there. So she brought him in like for like a Thanksgiving carry-in that they did probably in like '07. I would have been 11. And I had gone to my first show in June of that year, maybe July, and fell in love with Sammy. Thought he was the coolest dude, got shirts, made him on SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, did season mode as him. And we go there and he's there. And my dad's telling me, he's like, I'm gonna tell him that you made him on the game. And I'm like, no, don't do that. That'd be embarrassing. And I'm sitting next to Sammy Callahan as an 11-year-old, just trying not to be like the biggest mark I can be. Like I didn't even know the term, but I'm like, I don't want to be embarrassing. And eating Thanksgiving dinner, like, and it was like the day after, maybe a couple days after Jericho returned to WWE in '07. And I remember talking with him about that. So he has always held a special place in my heart for that reason. I actually, when I was looking into training and coming back, like heavily considered going to his school. And I think Ace Austin runs it now, but Pile Driver Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And I just ended up going with Ohio Pro Wrestling Academy. But nah,
All solid choices.
Cool as shit, man.
Oh
Sammy
yeah,
is cool as shit.
I've never had a bad interaction with him. I mean, it's always kind of been in passing because I've met him a handful of times at Revolver because they do the periodic stops in Des Moines, Iowa. I end up going there as much as I can, and yeah, no, I've got nothing but great things to say about Sammy. Like, got such a damn mind for the business, just from marketing to booking to just actually being out there in the ring. Like, yep, no, nothing but great things.
Yeah, I remember following like his career, him and both of the Chris, like after I went to those shows, and they were like the few names I remembered from those shows. I think they were called like Ego Pro Wrestling, that turned into American Lucha Core. But like I keep up with them in like PWI or online and just see what's going on. So definitely a special place in my heart.
So he wasn't on this list, but you mentioned the Chris. Jake Chris, I literally nothing but love and respect for him. I
love that dude. He so he kind of, I guess I forgot about this. He kind of played a small role in me going to training and like going back into wrestling.
Okay.
So like I said, I'm a teacher and I teach at a school, and we would do like these like visiting artist days like once a month where we'd have people from the local community come in and talk about different art-based careers. And we'd have painters, we'd have DJs, we'd have like whatever you can think of. And I wanted like wrestling representation. So I started reaching out to like every like wrestler I could think of. And like that was before I started training. And I didn't go to like a lot of indie shows. So there's so many people that I could have reached out to that I didn't know. But like I'm reaching out to anybody with an Ohio connection. I'm reaching out to Sammy Callahan, Jake Chris, Zach Wentz, all these people. And Jake replies to my DM like on Instagram. And he's like, man, that sounds awesome. I'd love to do that. So we set it up and he came in and like talked to my class about wrestling. He was a Revolver champion. I don't remember if it was like Revolver World Champion or if it was one of the other belts. But he came in with the belt. Like they got to pose with the belt. It was
Nice.
so cool, and he was such a chill guy, and he was so friendly and so genuinely appreciative to be there. Every time I've seen him since then, like he gives me like a super big hug, and like he'll nearly every time he'll bring that up and he's like, "Man, I gotta get back in your classroom someday." Like he was a pleasure, man. I love that guy.
That is awesome. Next guy on the list, I I personally am getting a kick out of what he's doing right now with Danhausen, but The Miz.
God, everybody you say has such a like pivotal role in my like wrestling life. So I loved The Miz. Like I adored him growing up, especially when I got to like middle school, early high school, when he started doing the "I'm awesome" gimmick. That really spoke to little middle school Dalton. And I remember I had a "Hello, I'm awesome" T-shirt, and I wore it for picture day, and like the lady doing the photography, she kept like being like, "All right, awesome. Sit up straight, awesome. Put your hands this." And I'm like, "Girl, that's not my name. Like, why are you making it weird?" And then I never wanted to wear the shirt again. But dude, Miz has been so cool to see his career projection. Like starting out the way he did with like the super cringe character, and like seeing how he's evolved into just a genuine superstar. Like
Oh, yeah.
transcending wrestling is so cool.
Oh, for sure. And like I said, the stuff that him and Kit Wilson are doing with Danhausen right now, I am
Dude,
loving the hell out of it.
hearing him do the hoorah thing like
Yeah,
is
he's like electrocuted. He's like, "Hurrah!"
such a blast from the past, man. Like I forgot about that part of his character. So I always appreciate in wrestling when there's consistency to the canon,
Oh,
and
for sure. For sure.
and acknowledgement of things that happened in the past, and seeing how these characters develop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so nice to get that little throwback.
Oh, for sure. And well, speaking of Danhausen, bam, autograph.
Hi,
Met him at Revolver, actually.
dude. I love that guy. I'm so happy for him.
Oh,
I wish I could have met him when he was still like circling the Indies, but
oh yeah.
that's a very minor thing. He's making millions of dollars. I'm
Oh,
so
dude.
glad he is.
I met him at Revolver, and actually, not only do I got the card, but the ringside exclusive AEW figure where it like the window has like the cape that like has pull. Yeah, I actually got that signed by him too.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a bit. You can't see it from here, but my whole top is autograph figures. I got some of my souvenir shot glasses, and yeah, I got a whole. I'm proud of what I've built here, and that this isn't even everything, but that's a whole nother story for another time. But last but not least, for name game here, another person I'm kind of getting a little bit of a laugh out of right now. Johnny Gargano.
Dude, Johnny Gargano's cool. Like I really enjoyed his stuff in NXT.
I've heard nothing
And
but great things about him, like
same.
actually meeting him.
Same. I know a lot of people that like train at AIW up in Cleveland, where I think he used to be the head trainer. Um, and I've heard nothing but great things myself.
Oh yeah,
I always loved his like superhero inspired gear.
Oh yeah, that gear. Yeah,
And
I've gotten a kick out of that myself, and I mean,
the Tommaso and Johnny feud was
oh
probably
yeah,
one of my favorite things to come out of wrestling in the 2010s.
oh yeah, and then heck, as recently, this whole thing he has where he's just laying there like he's just so just distraught. I guess
I am depressed.
and he's like, I maybe you've seen the video too, but it's like him and Candace at like Fanatics Fest, and he's just laying there flat on a table, just not moving or anything. And Candace is just running the entire thing.
Dude, such commitment to the gimmick. Like, I adore that.
Oh, I love it. When you can show that much commitment to the damn gimmick, that is awesome.
Man, on the topic of Johnny, like that theme song too, Rebel Heart.
Oh yeah,
God, such a banger, man.
totally, totally. Now I got some random questions, some wrestling related, some not, some nothing to do with anything we've talked about.
Hell yeah.
That's why random. So like, give you the question, first answer that pops into your head.
Okay.
First one, craziest in-match moment for yourself.
Craziest in match moment would be my one of the practice matches I had. I remember, like, I think it was like my first one, and I was in there with this dude, and he, like, you start training, you don't really, like, you don't know things until you do it. You have, like, you can do all the training, you can take bumps, you can be taught things, and nothing teaches you like in-ring experience. And this dude was like so in it, man. And I'm just like scared, nervous little Dalton. And he gives me this huge fucking chop in the corner.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, I'm dead. And then next thing I know, just massive clothesline. And like I think that was like the first time I'd ever taken like a chop like that. So I'm like simultaneously like selling, but also I'm like shit.
But also
God
you're like,
damn.
holy shit, that actually.
And he lays it in, and like I had like turtled up a little bit, and so I got clipped like in the jaw, man.
Ugh.
And I remember I'm like feeling like hard things like in my mouth, and I'm like,
Oh
what is going
no.
on? And I'm like, did I lose a tooth? And like I like spit up blood on the mat, which you shouldn't do. Like, but I'm like so checked out, man, because I'm like, I think I just lost a tooth. And sure enough, there's like little tooth chips like surrounded by blood. And then we finish the match, and my trainers are giving like critiques and stuff. And one of them's like, did you spit up blood on the mat? And I'm like, yeah. Like, it was definitely a big learning experience, man. And it was one of those like, shit, like this is gonna be really hard, dude. And you're gonna have to lock in to make sure you can do this. And it's one of those things where it really sucked in the time. Like, fortunately, my tooth wasn't like perma damaged, but like it has a little chip in it still. So like every time I do like, is this
Yeah.
like that thing with my tongue, I can feel it. And honestly, man, I'm grateful that it happened.
Hey.
I think I needed that.
Hey, that fits right in there. Now, Big Rear, bound to figure I'd ask this one. Favorite book
Of all time?
Hey, you can go all time or one that you've done recently.
Okay. So recently I've been on a big like horror kick. Like that's always been my favorite genre. Like next to me I have this book called Episode 13 by this guy Craig DeLuey. I read another book of his that I've been wanting to read for years, and I just couldn't get it. And finally I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just getting the ebook. And my girlfriend got me on to ebooks because I like the real thing, I like having it in my hands, like smelling it, whatever. But she was like, try an ebook. So I'm like, okay. And it's called Suffer the Children by the same author, Craig DeLuey. And basically the premise is like all the kids pre-puberty, like in the world, just die. Like suddenly. They all die. And then they come back as like feverish, like vampire zombie types. Like they're still decaying, and like but the only way for them to kind of act normal is to drink blood, and like they drink like 1 pint of blood and they can last like an hour or something. So it devolves into this like whole thing of like parents desperately trying to bring their kids back and being willing to kill for their kids and sacrifice
Wow.
their literal selves. Like it's dark as shit, but it was so good, man.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like one that would grab your attention for sure. I,
Mm.
I know that's my thing with reading books is like it really has to grab my attention for me to be able to complete it because otherwise I'm gonna find myself just you know how some people read to relax or like right
Mm.
before bed. If I'm reading and it's not grabbing my attention, I'm gonna be like, wait, where was I?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So like the last one I can remember that like really grabbed my attention isn't even now that I think about it, isn't even all that recent, but Lone Survivor,
Mm.
the Marcus Luttrell story.
Yeah.
Like I remember I had seen the movie.
That's the one with Bradley Cooper, right?
Yeah, the yeah, wait, no, Bradley Cooper. That one's oh god, that one's American Sniper.
Oh, okay.
This one's the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Okay, gotcha.
He actually plays Marcus Luttrell in the movie.
Okay.
And yeah, I remember I'd seen the movie. I'm like, heck, why not? I'll check out the book. And yeah, no, you see, you know, you always hear about, and this kind of leads into my next question here. You know, you hear about with movies that were adapted from books and how much more the book has in it than the movie. Which I mean, when you think about it, like with the Lone Survivor, there that whole story played out over that whole period of time, and you have to condense it into like hour and a half, 2 hour movie. You're not going to be able to complete everything. You're not going to be able to put in everything.
Hmm.
But my question here is best movie that was adapted from a book.
Oh man, that's a hard one. Like, because like I'm like in my brain, I'm like, all right, what movies have been based off of books? And I think the easiest answer is to go Stephen King, because so many have been.
Oh yeah.
And I think personally the It like remakes or like if you want to call them remakes, they are, but they're not. Like that came out in the 2010s. Fantastic. So overall, like truthful to the source material. As much as I love and adore Tim Curry, like Rocky Horror Picture Show is my favorite movie. Tim Curry is amazing as Pennywise, but Bill Skarsgård's portrayal of Pennywise and the way they build that universe and that like thick of a book, like in those two movies, like there's so many things that in the 1990 adaptation they just gloss over for time or whatever. But watching it chapter 1 and 2, like having read the book very recently around the time that it came out, um, so spot on, and I really loved it. And now you get like Welcome to Derry, and like they start adding their own lore to this universe, and
Yeah.
like I was very skeptical at first, but they surprised me. Like I was hooked, like from episode 1.
That's awesome. I don't think I've ever watched any of it. I've heard good.
You know what movie was based off a book that I didn't know until very recently? My friend Saturn Price brought this up because he is in love with this movie. Fast Times at Ridgemont High was originally a book.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, apparently the guy that wrote the book like went like undercover like in the 70s as a high school student. Something you could never do nowadays. Like
Yeah, no.
there's so many reasons that this high school's like, all right. So he goes undercover and writes about everything he sees. And then the book is pretty much just what he lived, and then the movie adapts it pretty much like word for word, man. I
I didn't
was
know
like,
that.
no way. I
I
watched that
did.
movie way too young.
Yeah, good Lord, I don't even think I knew about that. Like, I know some of my favorites, obviously Lone Survivor. It, like, yeah, you read the book and you see all the stuff that wasn't in the movie, but I love the dang movie. American Sniper is another
Hmm.
good one. Great story. Uh, I mean, as of this recording, we're like a day or two off of the passing of one of the stars of Jurassic Park,
Oh yeah.
Sam Neill. Yeah, that one caught me off guard when I saw that he had passed. I'm like, wait, what?
I didn't realize he was as old as he was.
I didn't either. Yeah, no, there was definitely some that caught me off guard, but yeah, no, there's been some do it better than others, but I mean that's a given. Hollywood licenses for all that stuff. Um, Next up, with the name of a show like feel like I have to ask this: favorite drink, alcoholic or otherwise, or hell both? Because I do like to make it known that just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean that it has to be alcoholic.
Sure. As a quick heads up, my AirPods just died. So if you can't pick me up as well, that's why. So that's why I'm like suddenly really close to my
Ah,
phone.
you're
Um,
dead. You're
because
dead.
my volume sucks apparently. Um, so I'm straight edge. I don't drink alcohol
Yeah, nothing wrong with
myself,
that.
but I know if I did, it would be like the super girly fruity drinks. Like when I go out with my partner, she'll get like something and I'll just get like the fruitiest mocktail I can find.
Nah, yeah, no, nothing wrong with that. I mean, like I said, just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean that it has to be alcoholic. I've had people on the recovering addicts, people that are straight edge, and I try to be inclusive of everybody.
I love a good chocolate milk, man.
Oh, chocolate milk, yeah, can't go wrong there.
It hits so hard after a wrestling match too.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, I know non-alcoholic. My wife says I got a problem. She says I'm a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend, but
Mm.
I'm like, as long as we got some in the house, I'm fine. I don't got a problem. I got it figured out. And she laughs at me and looks at me like I'm a dumbass. But that is what it is. We, her and I, we got a back and forth where we'll give each other shit and she'll give me shit and then she'll say that I'm being mean. And I'm like, you give me shit all the time. It's only right that I return it every once in a while. Every now and then. All right.
Sometimes you just need that banter, man.
Oh, we definitely have that. We definitely. I mean, heck, with her and her side of things, that whole side of everybody. It. I've joked about it, but I mean, there's seriousness. If you can't take a joke or like return it with them, you're not lasting very long with
Mm-hmm.
that side of things. I love them to death. I don't have the typical, oh, I hate my in-laws sort of thing. Oh, I love being around them. They make it fun. All right. Last but not least here, best advice for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Man, I feel like I'm the last person to give advice. I'm so new, but
Ed,
dude,
or
like
something that's been given to you that like you share to others.
the best advice I think I got was very early on, and it was from this guy. His name is Coach Cat. He doesn't really wrestle a lot. He's more of a manager when he does do stuff, but he's like a gym teacher gimmick.
Yeah.
He I was in the car with him on one of my first rides ever, and he was like, Dalton, the craziest thing to me about wrestling that I've started to kind of figure out, it's like if you want to do anything in wrestling, like at any level, the biggest thing is just be an adult, be mature, be responsible, and
you know, just have common sense. And I have seen that kind of come to fruition in my short time, where like I go to shows and like as a trainee, trying to network, trying to help out at shows and just do what I was asked to do. And like people like promoters or other workers would send my trainer messages and be like, hey, like just wanted to let you know, like Dalton did a really good job. Like, and I'm like, why am I getting like called out? Like I'm just doing the bare minimum. And I guess that's it, man. For like that's what I would push too, is just do what you're asked. And like just be a mature, responsible adult and treat it like a job.
Yeah, no, very, very good advice that can be carried around in a lot of different areas. But before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
So I believe at this point all of my social medias are at Lexicon of Dalton. Um, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter I've been playing around with again, but it's Twitter, it sucks. Also Goodreads, if you like to read and you want to just see what kind of messed up stories I'm reading myself, follow me on Goodreads too. It's a fun one.
Definitely will do. We'll get all of that in the description. Want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Been an absolute pleasure, and you're welcome back anytime.
I would love that, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right, now my issue. Me and my fat fucking thumbs. I don't know if I'm hitting the damn fucking